President of the Elliott State Forest. We believe that the land board's on the right track to entirely decouple the 82,500 acres from the Common School Fund. It's become abundantly clear that logging old-growth forests to fund education in Oregon may have made sense one day, but pitting school children against the environment is just an archaic policy, and therefore we're grateful for the leadership of Governor Brown and eventually the rest of the land board to successfully direct the legislature to allocate the $100 million in bonding authority to begin this process. Moving forward, Cascadia Wildlands encourages the following. Ensure that $100 million of bonding revenue is used to decouple specific identifiable acreage of value on the Elliott State Forest from the Common School Fund, and that the land is put into permanent enforceable conservation easements to achieve the non-monetary vision laid out by the land board. We've provided maps to the land board and to Oregon Consensus and other interested stakeholders of key conservation areas on the Elliott to help begin with this process. Secondly, work with the legislature and other funding, potential funding mechanisms to utilize the trust land transfer program that was enacted actually the same year in the legislature as the bonding allocation was made in 2017, based on a similar model in Washington State, just to the north. The Oregon Trust Land Transfer Program can be used to finance moving encumbered trust lands on state trust lands like the Elliott State Forest out of the school fund into more appropriate uses to ensure clean water, carbon storage to mitigate climate change, big issue our global community is confronting right now. Restoration jobs and other values held widely by Oregonians. If you can believe it, Washington State has allocated approximately $60 million each biennium to move encumbered trust lands out of the trust into more appropriate uses. And this has reclassified over 120,000 acres of former trust lands in Washington. It's a mechanism we have in place now. It just needs to be utilized and is going to require the political will in Salem and leadership from our elected officials and Oregonians at large. Lastly, I'd close in saying it's Cascadia Wildlands' desire that any future public ownership outcome is not driven by servicing debt, as we believe this will likely incentivize logging big trees on the Elliott, something that we've been trying to move away from for a couple decades now. Thanks again for your time today. I appreciate it. Thank you.